So engagement marketing. What do you think your number one challenge is? Who wants to offer up an answer here? Number one challenge facing your business?
Time.
Time?
Defining who your market is.
Defining who your market is?
Reaching your market.
Reaching your market? Great answers. From our survey that we do two surveys a year. Our spring survey, number one challenge was getting new customers and getting repeat business. Top two things. So what we're going to talk about today with engagement marketing is utilizing all of your marketing, especially your social media, to help you do these two things. Get new customers and get repeat business from your existing customers. It takes a lot less energy and time and money to get your existing customers to buy from you again than it does to get a brand new customer. So we'll show you how to leverage what you already have, a great asset. So solutions for this: getting engagement, getting your current customers and prospects to connect with you and talk to you, and then creating social visibility. And I'll explain what social visibility means in just a moment here. So I'm going to share you a story. A little over a year ago, I was lucky to have our CEO, Gail Goodman, come out and present with me during National Small Business Week. And it's a little bit of pressure having your CEO come and present with you, I won't lie. But we had a great time, and one of the things that we figured out we had in common is that we're both foodies and we both love to cook. So Gail shot me an email about a month afterwards and said, hey, I'm going to get a new set of knives. We had talked about that when she was out here. So she went to the knife store by her house, and she's standing there looking at the Great Wall of Knives. And every kitchen store has their Great Wall of Knives. So she's staring at it, and she's trying to make heads or tails out of, do I want metal knives, do I want ceramic knives, do I want German knives, Japanese knives. Finally, this gal walked up to her and she said, hi, I'm Willa, I'm the owner of Kitchen Outfitters. Can I answer any questions for you? So she's explaining the differences and everything, and she says, Gail, you're just really not going to get a feel for this unless you just try some. So she pulls out a cutting board, pulls out a bag of carrots, pulls out a bunch of knives, and lets Gail start chopping away at the carrots. And for those of you that are in the room cooking, you know that when you get a good knife, you love it, and it just feels like an extension of your hand. And when you've got a knife that just isn't fitting you right, you're worried you're going to chop something off any second. So it's really important to get a set of knives that you're comfortable with. So Gail found a set. About 4 months goes by, and Gail's having another dinner party, another group of people over. And the other thing that happens with the two of us is that when we have people over, we usually end up in the kitchen. We're drinking, we're cooking, and we're having a good time. And Gail's got another group of friends over, and they're in the kitchen cooking. And pretty soon, she's got all her knives laid out, she's got chopping boards out, she's got carrots out, and everybody is chopping up carrots, trying out the different knives. And then it dawned on her, when she looked around her kitchen and she saw everybody doing this, she thought, holy cow, it's 4 months later, and I'm sharing Willa's story. How cool is that? Wouldn't you love to have one of your customers sharing your story to everybody that they're meeting, that they're working with, and doing it 4 months after they worked with you? That's impressive. That's awesome, and that's what's available for you by imparting what we're teaching you about engagement marketing. And it's a shift in mindset. So Willa never told Gail to, hey, send me your referrals, okay, because we know how poorly that goes over. We're all supposed to be asking for referrals, all of us that are in sales, and most of us in sales, if you ask us, for a truthful answer, we'll tell you that asking for referrals stinks. It just doesn't work. And the reason that it doesn't work is because most people don't like sales. Most people have a difficult time with sales. So when you ask them to give you referrals, you might as well be putting a salesperson's hat on them and putting them out there in the marketplace. You make them very uncomfortable doing it. Because most times with sales, it's the old school way. If you look at financial planners and insurance agents, and I can pick on them because I did both jobs when I got out of college. And I had the same success ratio because I would be done And then I'd slide that piece of paper over to him and I'd say, hey, could you share the names of 5 people with me that could benefit from the great results that you're getting from what we just discussed? And we've all had our various form of that pitch. And we've all gotten the same results. Not one person is ever sitting there thinking, oh my God, only 5 names? No, they're thinking, who can I irritate the least by putting their name down? And usually you got your go-to person, your referral buddy. And you both agree that you'll both be each other's referral buddy when somebody needs to get a referral. And it's just uncomfortable. Nobody likes it, and they're not in a good situation. But if you simply just do a little bit of a shift and you ask people to talk about their experience with you, their experience with your company, with your employees, if you've got more than yourself. We'll talk about experiences all day long, good and bad. It's much more comfortable for us to talk about the experiences that we've had. So that's, if you follow me on that, that's what we're going to talk about. So, the picket fence. This used to be social media. I remember being a little kid and going over to my grandparents' house on the east side of St. Paul and looking out the window and seeing my grandma standing at the back fence talking to the neighbor ladies. And they'd be talking about, hey, have you met the new butcher over at Morelli's, or have you tried the new feature at your Russo's? And they're talking about what's going on in the community, what's happening in the neighborhood. The same things that we're doing today on social media, they were doing over the picket fence back then. Move forward 20 years to my father. He's a traveling salesman. He covers the upper Midwest. He's on the road 3 days a week. And he's got a morning appointment and an afternoon appointment, and then he's on to the next city. And at lunchtime, he'd be in a cafe or a diner, and he'd be sitting at the counter, and he'd be talking to people about the great appointment he just had with the company in the morning, and then asking questions about the business he was going to be meeting with in the afternoon, trying to find out what's going on in their community, what's changed, what's new, what's good, what's bad. Same things that we're talking about on social media today. His medium was just the lunch counter at a diner. So you fast forward to today, and we're talking about the same things. What's going on in our local businesses? What events are coming up? What's new in our community? And yeah, we're playing games and those types of things too, but a majority of the discussion that's going on are the same things that our parents did and our grandparents did. The medium that we do it in is just different. So if you can agree with me on that, if you can follow me on that, it changes how we look at social media. It's not something that's foreign now that we don't understand. It's absolutely what we understand. It's just a different medium in what we're doing. The cool thing is that in the amount of time that it took my grandma to talk to the neighbor ladies, or the amount of time it took my dad to talk at people at the lunch counter, where he maybe had 12 people to talk to, it takes us the same amount of time, and we can reach hundreds or thousands of people with our messaging. So the exponential ability for exposure through social media is amazing. We've never had more reach and more power as a small business than we've ever had in our entire lives. So by understanding what's available and what we should be doing, it's going to increase how it works for us, a tremendous amount. So we've just gone social with our picket fence discussion. So we trust comments and reviews even from strangers, not marketing speak. Okay, Amazon and TripAdvisor were the first 2 companies that really gave us our voice. Amazon allowed us to buy something and write a review about it. And they allowed other people to read our reviews to help them in making their buying decisions. John Grisham's got his latest book out there. It's his 35th or 37th or something like that. And he's going to say, hey, it's one of my finest books ever. And we won't believe him. Because we never get from him, it's okay. They gave me a ton of money. I wrote it as fast as I could so I could get on summer holiday and go to the Olympics. If we got that from them, then we would trust the other stuff from them. But we just don't. Because it's always, sunshine, rainbows, and puppy dogs. So we'll look down and we'll see a review from Marge in Topeka, and she says, this is John's greatest book. And we'll immediately buy it. Because we just assume that Marge is us. We're the same people. And the other reason is that Marge has skin in the game. She actually bought the book, read it, liked it, and wrote about it. So we're going to trust that more because she's experienced the book. We've become a jaded bunch. When you bring small business and nonprofits into the mix, we still only trust 36% of advertising. If you take small business and nonprofits out, it drops down to 17%. We don't trust big corporation marketing speak at all. But we trust reviews, 79 to 81%. Reviews and comments that other people make about a business. It's a complete shift in what we should be doing. Because most of our marketing is geared towards what? The 36%. We're still chasing that old model. And instead, we should really be focusing our effort on the 81% because it's going to have much more impact for us. And we'll show you how to do that. So marketing speak is out, customer engagement is in. We changed off, I tired her out. I told her she's in for a treat because I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands and my mouth. So good thing they had two here to support me. So your customers' friends are your next best prospects and customers. Okay? Let's think about that one. I need you to agree with me and understand this one. Your customers' friends are going to be your next best prospects and customers. There's huge benefit with that. I was down at the Iowa Jewelers Association show last month, and I was telling them this, and one of the guys just couldn't grasp it, couldn't buy it, couldn't accept it. And I said, okay, here's a simple example of how this will work for you. I'm married, so I'll pick on Scott, and Scott's not in the room, so I can pick on him. Scott's single, so let's say that Scott gets engaged. He goes into the jewelry store, he buys a ring, he gets engaged. One of his buddies also decides that he's going to get married. So he asks Scott where he gets the ring, he goes into that jewelry store, and his conversation is going to be entirely different with the jeweler than Scott's was. Scott's going to go in and talk to him like a lot of your customers do, especially your new customers that you're building up, that you're driving in, you're connecting with. And they're going to ask you about your business. How long have you been in business? Have you been located here for how long? Who are your best customers? What's your history besides working here? They've got all the questions that they ask you to go through. And you've got to explain all of that, and then if they accept that, then they'll let you talk about doing business with them. So Scott probably would have to do that with the jeweler. So he'd ask him, how long have you been in business? Who are some of your happy customers? All of those types of things. When his friend goes in there to buy, is his friend going to ask any of those questions? His friend is simply going to say, I need as good or better a ring than Scott bought because my fiance can't have a smaller ring than Scott's fiance. That's the conversation. So your customers' friends are going to come in and do the same thing to you. Hey, I heard what you did for Bill. We're having the same problem at my place. I really need you to help us out. Okay, hey, fantastic what you did for Sheila. Our problem's a little bit different. Here's what it is. And they will accept you because their friend has already vetted you. And if they trust their friend, they're going to immediately trust you. So it really changes the sales dynamic. So instead of focusing all of our attention on the people that we don't know, and you still have to do that, social media, email marketing aren't the end-all be-all. Okay, you still need direct mail, you still need some of your traditional methods of marketing, you just have to spend your dollars wisely. Because social media and email are permission-based. It's going to people that you know or that know you and have connected with you. So you need your other forms of marketing to still reach people that don't know you, that aren't aware of your business. So you have to have a nice mix. So we all get to be a red dot at some time. And oftentimes, we're the red dot of many groups. If you're a red dot, you're the center of influence for a group. okay? And the people around you are in your social sphere, and you have a chance to influence them. So if a red dot represents one of your clients, and they can introduce you to the blue dots that are around them, those blue dots are going to come in like Scott's friend. And they'll be willing to work with you right from the get-go. And the nice part about it is that when one of them becomes a customer of yours, they now have their own spheres of influence. So they can start influencing more people, and it compounds, and it compounds, and it compounds. So it's small doses of people, small batches, consistently done over time, that's really going to impact and grow your business. The reason that it helps you out with the small groups, is that you're relevant, you're appropriate, and you're qualified. Because somebody in that group is one of your customers, and they're going to qualify you for all of their friends. And you can have relevant discussions. Coca-Cola's got 51 million fans on their Facebook page. Can they have a relevant discussion with anybody on that page? There is so much stuff churning through on their page that even if I posted "Love Diet Coke" and they responded back in 20 seconds, it would be so far off their page that nobody would see it, and it wouldn't create any engagement. It wouldn't create any buzz for them. So we got a big diagram. It's a lot of information. Don't panic. Okay, don't run for the door. We're going to talk through this, and you are going to understand this diagram by the time we're done. Okay? So provide your wow. So I shared Willa's wow with you. You're going to rise above the ordinary in small or large ways that'll set you apart and wow your customers. The good part about this is, unfortunately, a bad part of business today. The threshold that's been set is at its lowest point ever. What we accept for customer service is ridiculous nowadays, compared to 20, 30 years ago. So all you have to do is rise above a little bit, and you're going to stand out in the crowd. So there's a gift store out in Connecticut. They will wrap any gift for you if you would like it wrapped. They will wrap it in newspaper. No, it's not run by guys. Okay? I'll let you know that if you got a gift from one of your favorite guys and it was wrapped in the colored Sunday comics, you're special. Okay? They put a fancy bow on it, which none of us guys in this room could touch. Okay? Pretty safe in saying that. That's their wow. That's their unique thing. It separates them from everybody else. They are really, really cool gifts, so when you unwrap the newspaper, it's awesome inside. But it's something that's distinctive and sets their gifts apart. There's a sandwich shop in Ohio. It's a lot like a Subway. And their wow is that when you come through the door, you get a cheer and a standing ovation. Hey, we're glad you're here! It's got to be insane at lunchtime. Okay? But think about it. You've had a lousy morning, okay? And you're going to stop in at this place before your afternoon appointment. And you get in, hey, we're glad you're here! It's going to be the best sandwich you've ever had. Okay? Because we don't get standing ovations. We don't get cheers at work usually. So you've got a group of people that are cheering and happy that you've walked in their front door. They make everybody feel amazing when they get in there. If you're a financial company or a services company and you're submitting proposals, stand out. Don't use the cheapest acetate cover that there is. It reminds me, it's the opposite of what you want to do from the old joke about the college student. He's got his last class to pass in order to graduate. Big auditorium, 200 people in there taking the final exam. He finishes, they're all marching down the center aisle, stacking up their finals on the table in front, big stack of tests. He's about 10 feet away and the teacher grabs him and says, I need your test, I think you're cheating. And the student says, do you know who I am? And he says no, and he breaks away and stuffs his test into the big stack of papers and runs out the room. Because he knows the teacher's not going to know who he is. We don't want to be that student, we want to stand out in our staff. So if there's 10 acetate proposals and there's this red one, which one are they going to read first? They're going to read the red one. What usually happens when people are reading proposals? If the first one is anywhere close to what you want, you're going to go for it. You might read a second one just to confirm, but it's always going to pale because it's in a cheap acetate binder. Oh, I guess they didn't care much about our work. Because they're immediately measuring it against the yardstick of the red one. You don't have to go crazy. I mean, it doesn't have to be gold gilded and, copper and everything. Just, a little bit nicer than the average one that most people are using. So you can stand out and make a difference. So we're providing our wow. Now we need to entice people to stay in touch with us. Hope is not a strategy. You have to have hope. There's no reason to get up in the morning if you don't have hope. But hope is not a business strategy. You can't hope that people are going to follow you on Twitter or like your Facebook page or connect with you on LinkedIn. Okay, you can't hope that the person that you talk to at a networking event is going to call you and set up an appointment. Okay? You just can't count on hope as a strategy. People are more willing to connect with you, but they're also more picky. Just having a newsletter isn't good enough anymore. 6-7 years ago, all you needed was to send out a newsletter and you got major impact. It has to be good. We get so many newsletters, we're only going to continue to subscribe to the good ones. Same thing with social media. If you like somebody's page and you go to your page a few times and all it is just promotional spewing of garbage over and over again, who cares? You're just not going to go back again. So they're going to lose you, you're not going to engage with them. So you have to be good. People will connect, but they are picky. So I'll use Willa again as an example. So some of the things that she shares in her email and in social media is that she talks about knife sharpening workshops that they have and cooking classes that they have, and the one that I love, cookbook exchanges. And employees from the store are encouraged to participate in this. And it's a genius idea on Willa's part. She's doing a number of things. So you're invited to come bring, some of your old cookbooks and you can trade them with somebody else. And I would hope that the person that's bringing it, if I was bringing one of mine, I'd list out my top 5 or 10 recipes out of this cookbook. Here's the ones that my family loves. And if somebody didn't do that and I liked their book, I'd make them tell me which ones they liked before I did it. And again, I had somebody after a seminar that said, well, why would Willa want to do that? She sells cookbooks. She's going to miss out on all that revenue. And, we talked through it and they finally understood the benefit of this. And, the benefit is that what Willa's really doing is that she's building community. She's building community with people around her business. If you exchange cookbooks with somebody and they say, man, here's my family's favorite recipe, our lemon zesty chicken, okay? Just absolutely love it. And you make that recipe and then you run into them at a Little League game or PTA or at the grocery store. Are you going to ignore that person? No, you're going to run over and say, hey, you tried the lemon zesty chicken. It was awesome. Thank you. And these people are now connected. And their connection is her store. So as she's having more events, these people are now connected and they're going to be talking, hey, you going to go to that event? You going to go to this event at Willa's? Yeah, I'm going to be there. It also connects everybody that's there to more of the employees. If the only person that was ever at any of these things was Willa herself, and if for some reason somebody got upset with Willa, they could easily leave and go somewhere else. But now that they have relationships with other people, it's harder to leave because they have to break these other relationships. Following me on that one? Okay? You can do this. I've personally done this before, and it works tremendously. So if you can build more connections with your organization, and if you are a solopreneur, a one-person operation, partner with another solopreneur or another company that both service the same clients and cross-market to each other. And the same thing will happen. It's harder for them to leave because they would feel like they have to break that other relationship. Okay? So they won't join if you don't ask. So yes, you really have to ask them. Again, you can't hope that they're going to join you. You have to ask them. So we've wowed them, we've enticed them, now we need to engage them. Lots of different points that you could use for engagement. What a lot of people have done with their social media is that they've just regurgitated all the other marketing that they do. So you've got a direct mail piece, you've got a newspaper ad, you might have a radio commercial, maybe even a TV commercial, all talking about your 15% off sale. Do you really need to talk about your 15% off sale on social media when they've heard it 5 different places before? It's a big who cares. So what? I've already heard that. So tell me something different. Tell me why I should care about your sale. Tell me why it's important. Okay, let's say that you sell furnaces and air conditioners, and you're doing all of your traditional marketing and talking about your sale. Rather than talking about it directly on social media, maybe you have an article on there that's talking about, hey, the high energy efficient furnaces are saving on average in the upper Midwest 22% on energy bills. Last winter it wouldn't have been a big deal because it was pretty warm, but you know, if we have a cold winter like we're probably going to get, that could add up to a lot of money. So that's additional savings. You're educating them. And then later on in the article you could say, oh, by the way, we happen to have our high energy efficient furnaces on sale this weekend. So you can still get the message in there, but if you lead with it, it's a who cares. But if you educate them, they now gain interest in you, and you're now the expert. And you're helping them to understand why this should be important to them. So other things are, you know, promotions, you can talk about that, events that you're having. If you're doing open houses, if you're going to be at a networking event and have a table there, if you're doing any type of thing out in the community, let people know about it and get people to talk about it. Okay, and I'll show you a couple of things to help you with that. Asking questions. Okay, asking people, hey, what's your favorite this or what's your favorite that? Or when you get the phone calls or the emails from people that say, hey, we really love working with your company. We worked with Janie and she did a tremendous job. You know, she's a great asset to your company. Ask that person, hey, would you mind if I posted this on our Facebook page? And then could you just come in and drop a comment on there? And here's why we want to do it. And then just explain to them the concept that I shared with you. You're sharing the experience that the person had with your business. And when it's posted and they comment on it, all of their friends will have the opportunity to see this discussion. So they are now aware of your business and they have a chance to jump in and find out more about you. You're not asking for a referral, you're just getting them to share the story that they shared with you. And their friends are going to see that and they're going to start chiming in. So it's how you get that exposure. The cool thing is it becomes a two-way street. Because if they're a business as well, all the people that follow you can now find out about their business. So they have a chance of getting exposure and awareness and getting people to find out about their business as well. When I was doing insurance and finance and I slid that referral sheet of paper over, I never called people back and said, hey, I got a lead for you. It just didn't work that way. So this way, it's something that does work for both people. And it takes 30 seconds to explain it, and then they're going to start imparting it for their business, and you're going to help them improve their business and what they're doing. And then sharing information. So if you educate people and you're sharing useful information, it's going to make them want to come back to your page more often. Say, hey, I wonder what they're going to share today or what they're going to talk about today. So you become the expert, you become the go-to person. And people buy from whoever educates them. Okay, if we go back to the furnace example, you know, I might, if they just had an ad saying, hey, we've got 15% off on furnaces, I'd think, who cares? I don't need a furnace. But if I see, hey, high energy efficient furnaces save you 22% on your energy bill, that might pique my interest, so I might read the article. And then they could let me know if they've got them on sale. And if they also included something in there that said the life expectancy on the traditional furnaces is 12 to 14 years of age, they now have me hooked. because my water heater went out last summer and didn't tell me ahead of time. So now I'm very cognizant of the life expectancy of my major appliances. I wouldn't have known that I was in the furnace market until they told me that the life expectancy is 12 to 14 years. My house is 14 years old. I'm on the tail end of its life expectancy. I'm now in the market for a furnace. So because they educated me, they reeled me in, and then they hooked me when I realized that I need to buy a furnace soon, so I've got to start looking. And how cool, they happen to have them on sale this weekend for 15% off. So now that becomes relevant information to me. Before it was a who cares. I don't need a furnace. So engagement equals participation. You have to get people to participate with you. The biggest question that I usually get, so I'll answer it now and then we can talk about it during networking, how do you get people to participate? Simplest way is to hedge your bet. So you all know who some of your fanvangelists are for your business, right? You know who some of your biggest fans are that are giving you referrals, encouraging people to work with you, yes? Okay? No, not many of you. Wow. Okay? Who knows who a fanvangelist is for their business? Okay? So only about 40%. All right, I'll tell you right now who it is. When you go to an event, like if you came to this event today, and the first person that ran over and said, "Hey, I'm so glad you're here, it's good to see you again," and it wasn't Pat, it's somebody that's not, that this isn't their party, that's who your fanvangelist is. That they're happy to see you no matter where they are, that's a fan. That's somebody that really cares about your business. So now start thinking about the people in your life that you run into. And some of your fans are awesome, and some of our fans are a little less than awesome. And the ones that are a little less than awesome, thank them, get them a cup of coffee or a glass of water, because they still have their spheres that they are influencers in. But they might not be the person that you want out evangelizing for you. So the ones that you know are awesome, then encourage them to evangelize for you. And the easiest way to do that is just simply ask them, hey, we're looking at kind of rebooting our Facebook page. So for the next 3 weeks, we're going to start posting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 in the morning. Love it if you go out there and answer our question of the day, or comment on the poll, or share a story about working with our business. If you could do that for 3 weeks, we'd really appreciate it. And if you've got 4 or 5 fans that you've isolated, ask a couple of them to do that. And get them going on their 3-week stint. And then a week later, ask 2 more to do it. And then a week later, ask 2 more to do it. So now you've got 6 people over a 9-week period of time that are going to be out there every day or every couple of days participating in the questions and polls and comments and stories that you're sharing. And that will start getting traction. People will now start seeing on a consistent basis, wow, people are engaging, they're in dialogue here. This is really connecting. And so if you do that, other people will jump in, and you got a secret message. You gotta leave the room. So if you start doing that, other people will jump in. People just have a fear of being the first one to write something after somebody posts a story. So once they see that somebody else has done it and that a discussion starts, they'll be more willing to do it. They'll jump in. So Total Image Consultants, love what this gal does. So she works with business people, professionals. She helps them with their wardrobe. Men and women, guys, if you've got a big sales presentation to make or something, she'll help you put together your outfit. Okay, so you can shoot her pictures of what you've got, and she'll put everything together for you. And this is what she does on Fridays. Hey, it's time for another Fashion Friday Q&A. Post your questions or email them to me. I'll be back at my Facebook page at 4 o'clock, and I'll start answering questions. How much does she pay for that?
Just time.
Anybody? Time. Absolutely. She uses Facebook for free. She doesn't use a fancy webinar program. She doesn't use a really expensive, teleseminar system. She uses a Facebook business page for free. How many people do you think she had at her first 4 or 5 Fashion Friday Q&As?
5.
1. She had 1 the first 4 times she did it. A different person each time. Okay? But she's been doing it for a while now, and now she averages 20 to 30 people every time. And out of 30 people, she's getting 3 or 4 customers. 30 people, 20 people. That's not huge batches. That's not thousands. That's not millions. It's 20 people. 20 people, she's getting 2 customers. And that's more than enough for her to bring 2 new customers on a week. So small doses, small batches of people consistently are what drive and grow her business. So Boloco. Boloco is a burrito place out in New England. It's kind of like a Chipotle. The owner of Boloco is not socially savvy. He's not, marketing savvy. He just figured out that college kids like burritos and beer. And then he thought, holy cow, they really like burritos and beer. And there's over 100 colleges in the greater Boston area. So there's close to 30 Bolocos now. There's one between every 3 colleges. So here's a typical Twitter post for him. Happy Sunday, being lazy or productive or both. Did he spend thousands of dollars coming up with a marketing position? Did he work with a big agency to come up with that? No, he just asked a question that could get people to engage. I love Laura's response. Be lazy as all get out. Amen, sister. Own your Sunday. That's fabulous. And then look at Scott's. Wishing I had some of your awesome burritos right now. They're perfect game day food. So who's selling in this scenario here?
Scott.
Absolutely. Scott wasn't only selling, Scott was selling hard. Because Scott not only told you that it's awesome food, he told you when you should eat it. It's perfect game day food. Now look if we switch that around. And Boloco said, hey, get some burritos. They're perfect game day food. Not going to have anywhere near the relevancy and connection and engagement that this has. Scott is talking from a point of experience. Scott's obviously had a lot of Boloco burritos while watching football. You know that some of Scott's fans chimed in and said, Scott, that's because your team is a loser and playing at noon. Winners' teams play at 3. So if you're coming over to watch our game, bring Boloco with you. Or we have time to order Boloco for our game because it's not on until 3. So Scott was the influencer. Scott sold for him. All they did was ask a simple question to drive engagement. So we've worked through the first part of the diagram here. So we've come up with our wow. We've enticed people. We've gotten them to engage with us. And by engaging, they've created social visibility. When their friends see the discussion that's going on, that is your social visibility. When their friends see that, they'll then jump in and check you out. They'll click on your link, go to your page, learn more about your business. Because they trust their friend. And if they're looking for the same thing, you're going to be the first place that they're going to go to. So engagement drives that social visibility. If they're not engaging with you, nobody is seeing anything. So the connections aren't going to be made. So Donna's Gourmet Cookies, another example for you here. Took a picture of their holiday cookies, put a post up. Yep, we have them. Again, did they spend thousands of dollars on a marketing position statement there? You think they hired an ad agency to come up with that? Do you think they hired a professional photographer to take that picture? Probably took it with their phone. Okay, and popped it up there. They didn't even use proper grammar. Yep, we have them. But look at it. They got 10 people to engage. 9 people liked it. Eileen Ross liked it and shared it. Okay, now that's a difference. Liking it is good, but getting somebody to share it is the best. Because when they're sharing it, they're actually copying the post off of your page and putting it onto their page. And in essence, they're saying, this is so important, I want to make sure as many of my friends can see this as possible. Because I know they're not all online at the same time. So when I like it at 9 o'clock in the morning, really the only people that are going to see that are my other friends that are online at 9 o'clock in the morning. But by sharing it and putting it on my page, my friends that go to my page at 9:15, 11:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon are going to be able to see that post because it's going to be sitting on my page. You're getting some serious love from your customers when they're sharing your post over onto their page. That's what we're striving to get to. So Eileen shared it, and we'll work through the discussion. Look what Eileen wrote about that picture. Look at those adorable holiday cookies. Since they're from Donna's, I know they're going to taste even better than they look. She's writing from a place of experience. She's not saying, get your order in with Donna's Gourmet Cookies. They're having a 15% off sale. She's not giving them a referral. She's just telling people, look at those adorable cookies. They're going to taste even better than they look. And one of the people in her sphere she influenced, Cindy Bear, I wonder how Boo Boo's doing, said, where is Donna's located? I'd love to order some. So again, Donna's wasn't selling. Donna's just said, yep, we have them. Somebody, one of their customers, then shared that and spoke from the experience that they had with them. And that influenced one of their friends, who now is going to become a customer of Donna's Gourmet Cookies. So Donna did their simple post. Yep, we have them. Picture off their phone. Okay, inexpensive, easy to do. Their sphere of influence, somebody liked it and shared it. Influenced another group of people, and somebody from that group became a customer. That's pretty simple, isn't it? It's really not rocket science. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do this. And it can help, and I truly look at this as being a professional service. So if you're a solopreneur, we're time-starved. So you can do this, and you can do it and get help from somebody like Dale, correct? You know, or other people in the room that do work in social media and online marketing. And I look at it just like we're not doing our own, legal work. We're not doing our own taxes. We're not doing our own HR. So we learn from those experts. We do what we can, and then we, outsource to other people when we need to for their expertise. So any combination in there can work out for you. The cool thing is that we're up to 234 people on average, fans for our Facebook business pages. It's up from 140 from last year. Again, we're not dealing with huge numbers. It's small doses, small groups, small batches of people done consistently over time that's going to have a big impact for us. So we don't have 51 million. Let's say that we have 234, and we have all 234 of our people to like or comment on one of our posts. And if they got all 234 of their followers to like or comment on their comment on your post, it's over 57,000 people. We can do a lot of business out of 57,000 people. But what's our reach? Our initial reach is only 200. 234. If you broke it down, say you had half that, if you had 100 people, and you went through that same scenario, it's over 10,000 people. And I think everybody in this room could agree that if they could get some sort of engagement and connection from 10,000 people, their business is going to be fine. Their business is going to be doing well. So we don't need huge numbers. Small really can be big. So this is in our wheelhouse as small businesses, entrepreneurs, as nonprofits, that we can really capitalize this and make us work on it. And we've got a huge advantage that the bigger companies, the chain businesses, the franchises, from national organizations don't have. Because their work is being done from back at a corporate office, not in our local marketplace. And they're just not connecting and engaging on a level like we can. So we're absolutely, have the advantage in this scenario, so let's take the advantage that we have and make it work for us. So engagement happens in small doses over time. Engagement does matter. We worked through the whole diagram, nobody passed out, awesome, appreciate that. And you all have a clearer understanding of this. I know you're not experts at it after 45 minutes here, but do you think that you have a better understanding of what social media can do for you now than you did when you walked in the room? Yes? Awesome. Thank you. So we trust comments and reviews even from strangers, not marketing speak. Your customers' friends are going to be your best prospects and new customers. Rise above the ordinary in small ways, and you can create your wow with your customers. Think about the compliments you're getting now and the ones that you're getting consistently. That's probably your wow. So start figuring out how to make sure that everybody can understand that and can experience that. They won't join if you don't ask, so yes, you have to ask them. And engagement drives that social visibility, so engagement matters. So 3 things before we break here, and we bring up the next speaker. So think of your wow. One thing you can do that's going to rise above the ordinary. Or like I said, think about the compliments that you've been getting in the last week or 2 weeks. And chances are that's where your wow is. So start figuring out how you can capture that, do it consistently, or make sure that all your employees are providing that same wow to all of your customers. Connect. Think about one way that you can entice people to connect with you. Okay? Simple thing could be to do an email or do a social media post. Do something on Facebook letting people know about your new game plan with social media. Hey, we're rebooting our Facebook business page. Look for a post from us Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 in the morning, or whenever you think is the best time for your business. You can do it every day if you want, but really, small batches. If you're consistent in putting quality out there, it's a lot better than the people that you see that are posting 8 times a day. I had a financial planner that wanted to work with my wife and I, and literally, the guy was on Facebook 8 hours a day. And he called me up and I said, when the hell are you minding the money? I'm sure your farm is awesome, and you're probably a bingo all-star, but when are you making money for people if you're on Facebook 8 hours a day? And lastly, engage. Think of one idea for a social post or an email that'll drive engagement. Okay, so asking people to share their stories about your business. And not everything even has to be directly tied to your business. I was talking to one of my coworkers out in Boston, and she said that one of her customers did a really cool post, and he just asked people, what's been your greatest live concert that you've ever been to? And he was like a financial planner or an insurance agent or something. But he got so many people chiming in. He had over 100 people that chimed in. Oh, greatest concert ever was this. And then people started saying, I was at that exact same concert. Where were you sitting? And people finding out that they were sitting like 3 rows apart from each other at the same concert 25 years ago. So they're getting engagement going, and then they're both customers of this same business. So what do you think is going to happen when they hold an open house and these people now come to this open house? And instead of being all strangers, they're all going to start talking about, man, that Springsteen concert was fantastic, or Aerosmith was amazing. We saw him at this little bar, way back when. They're creating community. They're getting people connected, and that's going to stick them to their business even more. Any questions? There's got to be something. I was that awesome, huh? No question.